Alafia. I'm Philip John Nymark, the founder of the IFA Foundation International, and I'd like to welcome you to the monthly Ikufa. We're already in the month of September, so it's 3 more months, and this year is over, and we'll be embarking upon a whole new adventure. But for the remainder of this year, this is a pretty interesting Ikufa reading. First of all, it's about the sign is Ogunda Oyaku. And Ogunda is a sign where the individual is given the information that it's very, very important to finish what you start, to not be distracted, to not allow your friends to say, hey, come on, let's go do such and such, or just, little cards, a little ride in the country, whatever. But say, I would love to, thank you very much, but I have to get done what needs to be done. Now, if you don't have a project going, that's fine. But if you do have something that requires your work and your effort, even though it's a holiday weekend, get the work done. And on the emotional spiritual side, it's a strong indication that we should look for insights, for understanding, for direction from our ancestors. Now, people often ask me, well, what are the ancestors? And, I offer to my ancestors all the time, or, various permutations of this. But the ancestors should come in the following. The first and the foremost is your primary ancestor. Why? Because that ancestor up here, came with you, and he piggybacks on your head or in your head from the moment of conception to the moment you depart, at which point he reverts to his clone and shares that information. But he is the one energy that is always there, that is watching you, helping you, monitoring you, as it were. But also he's an energy which is learning new things, your new experiences, your new, tactile and spiritual and physical, emotional kinds of breakthroughs that you're going to have. He catalogs them, and they play a great part in the overall message that is your task and your understanding and your reason for being here on Earth. Number 2 is your ancestors in general. Your ancestors in general are very, very important, but you would ask them or go to them basically once you have already tried your primary ancestor. You're going to be surprised, by the way, how often your primary ancestor can give you the information necessary. It's a matter of developing a rapport with that energy, with understanding that it's here, with understanding who or what it is, and bringing it out. Have conversations with it, preferably alone, but just get to know your primary ancestor as a friend. And by the way, if you're asking for advice or direction, keep a paper and a notebook by your bedside, because if you should wake up, most of this in our culture is going to come through dreams, but sometimes I always remember Afalabia Pega having the, explaining the experience of he couldn't remember a Nodu, and so he called upon his grandfather, and indeed he woke up that night and his grandfather was sitting on the edge of his bed. Well, that was really hard for me to understand when I first heard it, but it's not so hard now. Now it would not frighten me. Now it would not make me nervous. But back when I first heard it, which is 30 or 35 years ago, I think it would have sent me, to the PP&I or, for some heavy-duty tranquilizers. But then write down the information. go back to sleep. And then, like so many things which you're not sure of in the day, did it really happen? Did it not happen? And you look over on your nightstand, and indeed it happened, and there's the answer to your question. But your ancestors in total, I mean your mothers, your fathers, your great aunts, your uncles, your grandparents, your children, etc., etc., they are calling out the troops, as it were. They don't want to be bothered every second with what it is that we have to do because they're doing other things. I couldn't tell you exactly what those things are, but they are. All right? And while they love and care for you, they don't need to be watching you or helping you 24/7. So you go to them for issues which your primary ancestor cannot handle. And finally, if it isn't that, you can go to your Ori. Your Ori, of course, encompasses a whole bunch of things. All right? But among those things is your choice of primary ancestor and your ancestral connections, and it's a third worthwhile way of attempting to get the information that you need. So that's what Romeo is telling you this week. Do your work, get in touch with your ancestors about any problems that you have, and or interpreting them or directional, and it's going to be a very, very good month. And Romeo has two requests this weekend. One of his requests is simply honey. You take some honey and you pour it on the bikim and you rub it together and you offer it to Arugula. You take the remaining bikim, if you have more than 16, and you do that, finish it off. And then you take a cigar, hopefully you'll light it, puff it a couple of times. You can place it in the container or whatever you're using for Rumula. It does work best if indeed you having one hand of a Rumula, you have your Ikufa, and that's what you're working with. Then light 2 candles, pray to Rumula to bring you those you love, the planet you live on, those people that you know, to help you have the insights into getting to know them, getting to understand them, and to getting the best and the most out of your life. Until next time, love and blessings.